I'm guessing is because there are times on my own personal Facebook profile where I gave the impression that I don't care what people think, but at the same time, I constantly ask for opinions, for feedback. So why am I so contradicting? Why do I say I care and then I don't care? Why am I so contradicting myself? Well, it might appear very weird when I say this right now, but actually I'm not contradicting myself. And as I was thinking this morning how to explain this, I think that the only way or the best way that I can answer this question would be to explain from my story, my truth. See, as a young kid, as a young child, I from a very very young age, primary school onwards, I have been I was a victim of or rather survivor victim of basically school bullying. And when I say school bullying, I'm not talking about teasing. I am not talking about the stuff that people often associate with bullying. I'm not talking about teasing. I'm not talking about being picked on. Nothing like that. I'm talking about severe bullying. I'm talking about my money being stolen. I am talking about being physically abused, beaten up very badly every day. And what I like, and the reason why I was like that in the first place was because I, on hindsight, looking back all those years ago, I wanted attention. I needed connection. I needed love. And it comes across as very needy because this guy, this boy who's just constantly going around chasing after people, asking people, talking, trying to make connections, but doing it in a very awkward and weird way. So eventually, when people detect this, especially the school bullies, right? They sense a certain vulnerability. These are kids. These aren't mature adults. These are kids. They sense a certain vulnerability, and maybe they have an unhappy family as well, or they just couldn't stand me behaving this way, so they did what they could do to prevent me from being so attached to them, which is just to attack me instead. So all of these bullying stopped when I started to carry a knife to school, and I made it very clear that I'm not afraid to use the knife. So I started to create boundaries for myself, and really, for a very very long time since then, I honestly just constantly tell people and portray myself as someone who did not care what people think of me, because to me back then, people equals attack, right? So people triggered me. So I created this strong sense of boundaries, and a very it's strong to the point where even if you approach the boundary, I will attack you. That is how strong the boundaries was. And this and also created a strong sense of, what is that word called, introversion. I my energies are drained whenever I am with people, because I needed to put a certain different kind of facade. So this went on for a really long time, where there's a part of me who wanted to receive love, who needs connection, but there's also the other part of me who's suppressing this other part of me, where I deny myself love even when it is offered. So, and this conflict within myself stopped after a while, when I became more and more present to this other side of me, and I was like, okay, so yeah, there's this. Hold on a minute, Pudding. What are you doing? Why are you running around? My cat is getting really agitated right now, for some reason. So there's this conflict on the other side of me, and I started to become present and aware of it. And I realized that I still wasn't particularly doing what I want. Even when I try to do what I want, the other side of me is holding me back, is constantly asking me to, no, do what people want instead. So these two sides were at war for a very long time. Until, thanks to a lot of mentors and thanks to a lot of personal development courses, towards the end of 2018, I said to myself, enough is enough. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to demand what I'm worth. I'm going to focus on what I want. And nothing else matters. And when I started to do that, what I want to do, what I truly want to do, I find that I have a lot of drive. I have a lot of passion. I can wake up. I can do things in a certain level of intensity that people tend to admire. I'm not saying this from pride. I'm saying this because people tell it to my face. But at the same time, what I want may not necessarily put food on the table. Because ultimately, it is about knowing your market. It is knowing who you serve that will put food on the table. It is about giving people what they want rather than what they need that puts food on the table. So now it comes back again. Okay, so in order for me to get what I want, I need to give people what they want, but not from a needy way. So there is no like this way is right or that way is right. But what I've come to realize at the end of 2018, in order for me to get what I want, I need to do it in such a way that helps other people get what they want. So starting 2019, I started to really pay attention. And some of you may know, last year was the best year, the best in the most memorable year, I would say, because it was my emancipation. It was my revolution. It was that year where everything changed, where I no longer struggle, where I no longer I can literally live day to day being honestly and sincerely happy. And last year was that year. But last year, what I changed was that I did market research. I said to myself, I'm going to work on understanding what people want. And then finding that intersection between what I want and what others want. Because there are things which I love to teach, but there are things which people are looking for. And if I simply just focus on what I want to teach, and because I do not care about what people want, what I want may not resonate. And chances are it does not resonate. High chance. And that is the reason why so many entrepreneurs fail. So many artistic solopreneurs, passionate, artistic, purposeful solopreneurs go back to getting a job. Because they don't care what people want. So how I see things nowadays is I see the feedback as data. I'm not emotionally attached to the feedback. What I am attached to is what I want. What I really want. What I want to do now. For now, at least. So, but in order for me to get what I want, I will understand what people want first. So hope that answers the question. That is the end of the sharing today. If you are someone who is like the previous me, Pudding, stop that. That is my green screen, Pudding. Pudding, that is my green screen. You don't want to tear down my green screen, do you? Yes, act innocent. Act innocent. Stop biting me. Why are you biting me? Why are you biting me, pudding? Choop, choop. Okay. So, if you have, if you're experiencing things like lethargy, procrastination, stress and anxiety, feelings of guilt, shame, there may be conflict in you. And as a solopreneur, if you're a solopreneur, actually it doesn't matter whether you're a solopreneur, executive, or whatever. Procrastinations is the first sign, is the precursor to mental illness, is a precursor to mental health issues. If you don't want, if you want to remain healthy, and more than that, if you want to thrive, mental health will help that. In fact, it is not the business, the life that creates a mental health issue. It is actually our mental health that creates the life that we want. So sometimes you may get a good deal, sometimes you may get a bad deal, but your inner experience of what deal it is, how good it is entirely dependent on you. And if you're struggling from things like procrastination, chances are you have some conflict within that needs to be resolved. So I'm creating this webinar called Zero Procrastination. Zero Procrastination is a webinar, is an online virtual class where I will show you guys why exactly all of the strategies that people use to motivate themselves to keep going does not work. And inside, I'm gonna like just a couple of things off my mind because I wasn't prepared for this. But basically, the couple of things I'm gonna share is why motivation is actually pointless. What should you do instead? I'm gonna share about why the only thing that is truly stopping you is yourself, and also what to do about that. These are just two of the most important lessons that I have done to allow myself to be so productive and so consistent. And if you want consistency in your life and you want the kind of ability to just do things without procrastinating, I would say watch out for that webinar. It's coming very soon. I'm going to announce it. But do join my Facebook group, the Mental Health Asia. The link is in the description. Click on that link, join that Facebook group, and you will be much more. It's much more easier to update you when you're in that group as opposed to watching my profile or my page. Okay. So with that being said, I shall see you guys at 6:45 p.m. later. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, stay true to yourself. I shall